I was involved with CoolSpan, although not on the board of directors, even when I remember going to a board meeting for CoolSpan in, must have been 2006, in the founder's garage in Bethesda. So it is literally one of those companies that started in a garage. And it's had a couple of iterations and pivots since then. CoolSpan was originally founded around the idea of creating kind of call it a replacement for a VPN. It was a technology that would enable a secure communication from a remote laptop into a secure network environment such that the remote laptop appeared to be part of the secure network environment. And it utilized micro SD based authentication and encryption protocols to establish that connection. Kind of fast forward over 2 or 3 pivots, by 2008, the lead investor and founder and management team were looking at applying that intellectual property to secure mobile communications. And where that started was taking that hardware-based capability in the micro SD and creating a token that would enable secure data communications. It was really, it started out as more of it was an SDK to enable partners to develop solutions on that platform. Eventually, the company ended up working with SRA and then acquiring assets from SRA that enabled secure voice and messaging on mobile devices, but only using what was called the trust chip, the hardware-based micro SD token. And that's pretty much where we were when I took over as CEO in December of 2014. And from there, we were in a position where, since we were only micro SD based, and the iPhone, Apple had just come out with a new version of the iPhone that incorporated the near field communications capability. The sleeves that we were using to house that micro SD chip basically went away. That market disappeared. Hence, we had no solution for iPhone. We were also encountering quite a few problems with Android, with bugs in the Android system that inhibited communication between the micro SD chip and applications operating on the OS. And so what we did heading into 2015 is we began to develop a software-based set of capabilities. First, utilizing the Trustonic trusted execution environment to protect the critical crypto functions. And then eventually, and we came out with that capability for Android in the middle of 2015. By the fall of 2015, we had a capability in Android that utilized a native key store. And then by the spring of 2016, we had a capability finally for iPhone that utilized a native key store in iPhone to protect the critical crypto functions. So what that meant at a high level is that by end of Q2 2016, we had a complete set of Android and iPhone, at the time BlackBerry-based, secure voice and messaging solutions that were entirely based in software or could still use a micro SD chip where a customer really wanted that capability. I think the part of the CoolSpan story which doesn't get out as readily unless we convey it is, ultimately we think we're heading towards a world where everybody will be making secure calls and sending secure messages by default. And you see the beginning of that with iMessage and FaceTime, and pretty good guess, inevitably some of the other major device makers, manufacturers, OEMs are thinking about what they need to do to more closely integrate secure communications with their devices. Our vision is that we want to be the default choice for secure voice and messaging globally. And it will ultimately be seamless. We will get to a point where you don't even know you're making a secure call or sending a secure message. It's just secure. And we think we can be the foundation for that capability. My experience with the Maryland Tech Council is relatively new. I've had more experience with the Maryland Venture Fund, as we were talking about, and that's been, they're an investor in CoolSpan. They've always been a very strong supporter, enthusiastic supporter. From what I've learned about the Maryland Tech Council, I'm really looking forward to having a deeper engagement with them and figuring out more broadly. It's not that, so that relationship is about CoolSpan and the Maryland Tech Council, but I think we can work with the Maryland Tech Council to more broadly grow the ecosystem of technology companies and in particular cybersecurity companies in the region, and I'm really excited to do that.